Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be talking about how Donald Trump is virtually guaranteed to win the 2024 election, looking at new polls and how certain states such as Pennsylvania, which Biden won in 2020, the polling doesn't even fall within the margin of error, meaning that Donald Trump is virtually guaranteed to win these states. So just yesterday, with new polls that have been coming out after that disastrous presidential debate for Biden, Donald Trump has been able to gain more of a lead, I should say, in many of these states, which put him over the margin of error. So, for example, in Pennsylvania just a couple days ago, Donald Trump expanded his lead to 5.3% in an average of polls, not just a single poll, but this 538 average of polls, Real Clear Politics average of polls, which now puts him at a 5.3% lead over Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. And virtually all polls, their margin of error are within 5%. So Donald Trump, his lead is bigger than that margin of error, meaning that even if there is so much of an error that it favors Joe Biden way on the other end of that margin of error spectrum, he still wouldn't be able to win. So that means that we can put Pennsylvania in Donald Trump's column. This does lean red whenever a state does fall within the margin of error. Pollsters and political analysts will put it as a toss-up, but Pennsylvania officially leans red. It does go to Donald Trump. Now, similar examples are following in Nevada. Today we see Donald Trump leads by 5.2% in the polls. And just to show you guys about regarding that debate, look at in Pennsylvania, just how Donald Trump has been able to expand his lead dramatically. On June 26th, the day before the debate, Donald Trump was ahead by 2.8%. Today, Donald Trump leads by 5.3%. Has been able to expand his lead dramatically. But going back to what I was saying with Nevada, we see Donald Trump is ahead by 5.2%. That's more than the margin of error. And in Arizona, he's ahead by 5.4%, which is more than the margin of error. So that means that we can put Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona into that characterization. I don't have the polling up, but North Carolina does as well. He is way ahead in the state of North Carolina. There we go, Donald Trump. In North Carolina. So what you see is that he is already at 270 electoral votes, and not to mention Maine's 2nd District, which I forgot to fill in, that's safe, which puts him at 271 electoral votes. So mathematically and technically speaking, he is guaranteed, not even virtually, but he is guaranteed mathematically and technically speaking to win the 2024 election, because there are enough states where he leads by more than the margin of error, making it impossible for Joe Biden to win. He leads in Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. And not to mention all of these other states. You need 270 to win. He's right at 270, 271. And then he has all of these other states where he can, expand on Republican influence on these states, as well as influence the Senate, the key Senate races, the key House races, and the Republican Party in these states for years to come. So, you've got states like Georgia, where he currently leads only by 4%. That is within the margin of error, so Biden still can win it. But it's looking very increasingly likely that Donald Trump does carry the state of Georgia. I would definitely put that in his column right now. And then you've got Michigan, where Donald Trump leads by 0.6%. I think that is currently in his column as well. That narrow margin is really being influenced by this Biden +5 poll from Bloomberg. That had outrageous results, though. I wouldn't really trust that. But Donald Trump, as you can see, is ahead. In Michigan, I currently think that Michigan is in his column. And then you've got Wisconsin. Donald Trump is ahead by a healthy 2.2%. This is another one that Biden won in 2020. You can see how he has been able to expand his lead after that historic debate. I would put Wisconsin in this column. So that puts him at a very big win of 312 electoral votes. Biden at 191 currently. And then you've got 5 states and 1 congressional district, Nebraska 2nd, that are all Democratic. These are all blue states. So if Donald Trump was able to expand his map to these states, it would be historic. It really would. It would have lots of influence on elections and how we think of elections well into the future. You've got New Mexico, which voted for Biden by 10.8%. You've got the state of Virginia, which voted for Biden by 10.1%. You've got Minnesota, which voted for him by 7.1%. You've got New Hampshire by 7.4%, Maine by 9.1%, and Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, which voted for Biden by 6.6% in the last election. So the question comes down to, how well would Donald Trump be able to expand the electoral map in 2024? He has already flipped Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. All 6 of those states went to Biden in 2020 by narrow margins. So Donald Trump being able to flip all of these states back, that's 6 states. 6 states is huge in presidential elections. That being flipped already changes the rules in an election. So then, if he's leading by so much in these states, the question becomes, can he take some of these these very Democratic states? I mean, just look at the state of Minnesota, for 1 second. You see that in 2020, of course, it went to Biden. 2016 went to Hillary. Yeah, it even went to Hillary in 2016. That's when you know it's Democratic. 2012, 2008, of course, for Obama. 04 for John Kerry. 00 for Gore. Clinton won it both times. Michael Dukakis won it in the Republican landslide of 1988. In the absolute demolition of Democrats in the 1984 election, Minnesota was the only state that remained blue. Minnesota went to Walter Mondale by 0.18%, as well as D.C., but that's not a state. So the last time, went to even Jimmy Carter in 1980. The last time this Minnesota went Republican was in 1972, when Richard Nixon won re-election with every state besides Massachusetts. So that just shows you how Democratic some of these states are, and really how historic and, just shocking it would be if someone like Donald Trump, who has been seen as so divisive and all that, would be able to flip some of these states. In some of them, in some averages of polls, he even leads in the polls in some of these states. So, again, Donald Trump is already guaranteed victory with Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. He is almost definitely going to expand on that. He probably wins Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin. I could very easily see him winning a state like Minnesota by a very narrow margin, or a state like Virginia, or even New Hampshire. I don't think there's much hope in Maine. I don't think there's much hope in New Mexico. And I think there is a lot of hope for Trump in Nebraska 2nd, but I don't see it. Then again, Minnesota and Virginia I could see. I doubt it, though. Looking at the polling, it looks very tight, and I think that Biden is being slightly underestimated. And I don't know, in the end, especially considering Hillary's results in these elections in 2016 and past elections, the Minnesota and Virginia always reject Trump at any chance they get when it comes to the ballot box. So I currently think that Minnesota and Virginia also go Democrat as well, but it could very easily go the other way, and still, Donald Trump wins big time. So thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe down below. It helps out a lot. Also, drop a comment to let me hear your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe as well, and I will see you all next time.